All right, all my beautiful people. Now listen here. First off, let me get this shit out of the way. I'm extracting honey, but it's only 7 frames. And this honey is just for me. So yes, I'm doing it without my shirt on, but I would like to tell you a little secret. Now, when I normally extract honey, I leave my clothes on. However, an old school beekeeper once told me that honey is not complete until a bead of sweat from the beekeeper's brow has entered the concoction. And now, listen, what I'm about to talk about is the spiritual and the physical, the divine, the idea of something divine, right? Now, I must admit, the last year or so of my life, I've been extremely isolated. I don't want to use the word depressed because I'm not depressed, yet it's similar to that. And some may say, well, it's the influence of social media, or if you want to get into serious conspiracies, then it could be the weather modification, heart, the control, right? But let me just explain something very basic to you. The idea of separation is the biggest illusion of them all, but it's also our biggest trauma, right? So if you knew this, if you knew that you could prey upon the idea of traumas causing physical harm in order to control and manipulate, then that's what you would do to yourself, right? So when I say to yourself, I mean, you already know that you fuck with yourself. You already know that you tell yourself really fucked up things. You already know that your biggest enemy is here in your mind. You know you self-sabotage. You know it. You know when you look in the mirror, you're like, damn, what is wrong with me? Why do I have this spot? Why is that there? Why is this there? You know you do that. And sometimes you pretend, right? You pretend some sort of false confidence, right? Let me tell you, that's actually healthy behavior. Pretending is very healthy behavior, because if you look around you, sometimes you can get very, very, very discouraged with what you're seeing. But it's all an illusion. None of it is real. There is no black and white. There is no man and woman. There are no ideas of separation, yet at the same time in the physical realm, we're experiencing it all. But you are no different than Jesus Christ herself. See, I got a little ahead of myself. You are no different than the Son of God, and you are no different than God herself. Okay, now, I may have lost a bunch of you by even mentioning the word God or Jesus Christ. But these words, these names, are the idea of separation themselves. The English language is such a distraction from the truth, but the only way out is in. So, what I want to talk to you about is this idea of separation. And this idea of control and manipulation, self-sabotage. If you look so far outside of yourself, you'll get so lost. But the key to out is in. So, as an example, what I'm going to say is, sometimes we argue over race, sometimes we argue over religion, and we get so deep and so caught up in it. And I'm here to tell you, the reflection is in the hive. The queen bee is the answer. There's no accident that the queen, that the honeybee is the most researched thing on the planet. And if you watched, I don't know, it's probably like 2 years ago now. See, that's the other thing, is time becomes completely irrelevant. But I had an interview with somebody, and when I broke down that a bee to the hive, or or a cell to the hive is a bee. A bee to the hive is a cell to the body, is you to the earth. So pay attention. A bee to the hive is a cell to the body, like a human cell, okay? There's a cell in the hive. What does cell mean? Cell means energy, battery cell, storing energy, solar energy. So we know through the idea of everything that we try to control and manipulate, right? We know the keys to the freedom. We already know it. So when we deny these things, right? When we deny the self, the connection, that's us reliving the trauma. Why? Because we've gotten used to the trauma. Your brain is releasing chemicals, right? This body isn't even real. Same thing with the hive. The queen is the brain. The body is only the quote-unquote descendants of the queen. The body is only the queen. What is the queen without the hive? What is the hive without the queen? Nothing. The queen doesn't exist. What came first, the chicken or the egg? This isn't even philosophical. This is not. This is just plain simple satya. This is the truth. Satya is the truth. The divine truth is within, not outside of you. So, with all this being said, the chemicals that you are releasing in your brain with either drama, self-sabotage, or inflicting trauma upon others, or others inflicting trauma upon you and you allowing it, okay? So, like even diet, for example. Listen, you could fast. You could do whatever you want to experience this chemical release. You could go vegan. You can do all of these things. You can not eat for 7 days or 72 hours or, these magic numbers, okay? There are magic numbers indeed. You can go through the physical realm experiencing a spiritual experience. Absolutely. But it doesn't mean that is the only way. That in itself is you releasing those chemicals. You thinking that you have the answer is releasing chemicals in your brain. You're addicted to it. So when people say, oh, cheese is more addicting than heroin. No shit, Sherlock. No shit. Everything that releases chemicals in your brain is addictive, including breath itself. And what is the key to freedom? Deep, honest, open breathing. It's a portal. When you're sitting there meditating and you're taking full inhales and exhales, what happens? Your anxiety goes away. What is anxiety? It's fear, it's control, it's manipulation, it's trauma, it's chemicals being released. When you experience drama, you are releasing chemicals in your brain. You don't need to be a scientist to have all the understanding of all this shit. You don't. You don't need to be. Anyway, I get a little carried away with this because I myself am experiencing the trauma from separation. I don't want it anymore. I don't want the separation anymore. I want us to come together. And it's sort of driving me fucking nuts. And I isolated because I was experiencing the results of the infliction of the pain, right? Like, when trauma is experienced, so in the depths of love, right? In the depths of your freedom, of your heart space, if you will. When you're experiencing love with somebody, you're hot, basically. I mean, the world seems different. Your perception of the entire world is different. Now, for somebody like me, let's just say like me. I mean, I'm no different than anyone. But for someone like me, love love is the only thing that I really want to experience, right? But then, when the traumas come up, I see that it's hard for some to let go. Like if you're arguing with somebody, it's okay. Of course it's happening. Because the idea of separation is amongst us. So you will argue. I don't care how much self-work that you do, you will feel an idea of separation or difference or a lack of communication and understanding of each other. It has to be that way because it appears as though we are different, right? But these triggers are only meant for you to heal the pain and the suffering. So when you experience it, now you get triggered, right? Well, the moment you let go of the need to be right, the moment you let go of the need to be understood, watch what happens. I just want you to watch what happens. Now, I'm not saying that this is the only way, because it's not. It's not at all the only way. There is no such thing as the only way. And that's really all I wanted to say in this video, is that it doesn't matter if you think you're right. It doesn't matter who's right. Nobody is right as long as we're separate. Nobody. You can celebrate whatever you want. You can celebrate the uniqueness of your culture. But I want you to understand that the culture itself is a word that we used to create further separation. Culture is in your stomach. Creating culture is a bacteria in your gut, getting rid of the parasites. In this human body, you can eat whatever you want. But if you allow the parasites to control and manipulate you, then you will create factory farming, removing your connection to the earth. Don't allow that to happen anymore, okay? That's my only suggestion to you, is don't allow the idea of separation to control and manipulate anymore, okay? There might be parasites attacking your culture. It's okay. You don't need to fear them. Just bring bacteria, healthy gut bacteria, back in so that your mind and body are connected again. The color of your skin does not dictate your culture, I promise you. And the gateway to your freedom is only in your mind. There's all these trickery words in English language, like even creating states. The only state is the state of mind. There are no states. There is no separation. There are no lines. Healthy boundaries is something totally different, okay? While you are healing, you need to surround yourself with healthy boundaries. Borders are not included, my friends. Anyway, that's just a taste of where I wanted to go. The bottom line is I love you. And you don't need to agree with me at all. I just want you to know I don't want to experience the separation anymore. I love you.